Good evening, everyone. It's 7:15 on Wednesday, the 30th of January, and we've been trying to get you a printed update, like a text update of all the entrants, but today has been chaos. Yesterday was fantastic. Jean-Luc arrived, of course, and I think you've all seen all about that. And we're trying to get back into a normal routine, but the demands have been quite hectic with everything that's going on, preparing for Mark's arrival and talking to entrants on their scheduled phone calls and all the other bits and pieces that have been happening. So unfortunately, we haven't got that up, and I thought the best thing to do is do a quick live update on the tracker, just to let you know what Tapio and Istvan and Uku are up to, and then we'll talk about Mark's arrival as well. So these positions were from 5, 6, 7 hours ago, no, from 4 o'clock UTC, which is 5 local, 6, 7. Why hasn't it updated? That's interesting. I'm not sure about that. That's 4, which is 5 here, 5, 6. Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, so that's fine. So there are, no, that's not right. 5, 6, 7. Maybe I'll just refresh here. I'm just going to quickly refresh, which I just did, and it should have bounced back. Let's just check Mark's. He's on there, the 6 o'clock. So we'll check here, 4. Okay, so well, that's okay. So it's 1400. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon UTC, or 1600 UTC. So it's a couple of hours old. That's right, because they're still on 4 hours. I'm used to the 2 hourly updates of Mark and Jean-Luc. That's why I'm getting confused, and I haven't actually seen this weather yet. I've just turned the computer on, and we're going from here. So let's start off with Suhaili. Suhaili is directly north of Tapio, so at least Tapio is further south, and he's has been making reasonable progress, but he's been waiting for these northerly winds to swap over to the west, which will be happening in the next hour or so, and he'll make his way to the Horn. So he's hoping to be there within a week. So total distance for now, let's do a measure on that. Cape Horn's over here, Tapio's over there. So about 700 miles from now, he should be able to make 100 miles a day, hopefully. So within a week, he should be around, and we'll look forward to that. So back to the weather, and we'll just run it through so you can see what's coming. At the moment, when he gets these westerlies, it'll be quite good for him. And I've got to click on that to keep that going. Here we go. Yeah, good westerly flow there right through the day. There's something happening here, but it looks like it's heading south and breaking up. So this is the 1st of February, so 2 days up front, all looking good. Went a bit light there for a while. Northwesterly, that's usually preceding a southerly, southwesterly change, but in this case it's such a big constant airflow, it's going to hold northwest. So that's on the 2nd. That gives him at least 3 days of pretty good weather. We've got something happening here. 3 days away, he'll be over at this point, and it's coming down, looking quite strong, but that's not bad. So it's gone underneath him. So that'll give him some solid northwesterlies, but again, he'll be just riding those towards Cape Horn. At this stage, if the forecast stays the same, that's not going to impact his position with a storm, but it's starting to get a bit far out. When you're 4 or 5 days ahead, it can be a bit more unpredictable. It's too far to look, but better than to see no storms from now than it would be later on. And there's 4th, so that's 4th of February, so that's 5, 6 days. He's getting very close to the Horn there. Still all typical Southern Ocean stuff. You know, strong winds, and the seas are going to be up around 5, 6 metres all the time. Then it goes soft. That could be about when he's due to get around. 6th of February, that's when I expect to see that happening. Look like it's unstable there, but it's too far ahead. Anyway, the short term is Tapio's pretty happy. We just spoke to him earlier today, and you'll be able to listen to that on SoundCloud. I think it's already up there, so that's all pretty cool. Let's come back to the real-time weather here again now, and look at Istvan. He's reasonably happy. The trade winds have gone incredibly light. You'll all remember what Jean-Luc and Mark were getting. They were strong, you know, big solid greens. Now they're very soft, so Istvan's only doing 4 knots. He had a tough week last week. He had a few big squalls come through that kept him busy, He's managed to do some work on his boat. VHF aerial's working very well on the back of the boat, so he's not going to put it up on the mast again. He's going to leave it there, save it getting damaged up the top. And Uku's now moving into the doldrums, so he's going to have to struggle for the last distances up there into the equator, which is right here. That's the equator. So I haven't looked at their distance apart for some time. It looks as if it's a bit the same, and if anything, Uku might have pulled out. Oh no, it's pretty much the same as what it was, and Istvan has kept up and possibly even gained a bit. 450 miles near enough between the two of them. Sorry, 850 miles between the two of them. And these trade winds means the wind direction is always going to be favourable for Istvan now, but it just depends on the strength. And Istvan should come through without any major squalls and things now. Sky will be clearing up, temperatures rising, he'll be enjoying that. And Uku's got the challenge of the doldrums. So if we're lucky, I'll leave it right there and we can actually watch the weather for both of them at the same time. Hit that. So pushing through day by day. This on the 31st tomorrow, all very much the same. Uku's still got no wind zones in front of him. So that's one day. Istvan's coming up into maybe a little bit stronger trade winds, 15 to 20 maybe, but still not a lot of strength and not a lot of push in it. But that no wind zone above Uku's just sitting there. That's the 2nd of February, so that's now 3 days in advance. And he's going to really struggle to get anywhere, but Istvan is going to be gaining. By then, you see, this is now, we're into, let's go through to the 3rd of February. He's just starting to get some light breezes, so he's only making 4 knots or so in this sort of stuff. So he's going to lose out there about 3 days, I reckon. And that'll give Istvan, say, 3 slow days or average days of about 100 miles, if we say what Uku will be doing. So 3 days, he could get 300 miles closer, and that's going to put him 550 miles away. This completely forgets the fact that Istvan's going to have to go across the doldrums, but by the time he gets there, they could disappear a bit. So you never really know. So just keep pushing it through. It's still holding for Uku. He's got plenty of challenges there, and it's actually then starting to lighten off for Istvan, but he'll be up here by then. So I reckon the trades he should be okay. Now this could be interesting. By the time Istvan gets up here inside the towards the top of the trade wind zone, Uku may still just be struggling to the equator. He's at the moment we've got 250 miles. It could take him 4 days to do that easily. So watch this space. They could close the gap, and then if Istvan is lucky and the doldrums close up, that will be, let's just see for fun what happens to the doldrums as the time goes forward. No, they're holding. They've established themselves. Okay, so this is the 6th. Now they start to, no, there's a good breeze there now. Look at that. They've completely gone. So by the 7th, they're completely gone. It's 7 days away. So, geez, Istvan's going to be right on his tail. By then, I reckon Uku will be here somewhere, and Istvan could be then ready to sail through the doldrums. So that'll be kind of interesting. Anyway, coming up here now, we'll get keep an eye on that, and we will get back into normal bits and pieces now. So with our routine of lives for the guys, and also daily printed updates on Facebook, and also on the skipper pages for the website as well. So we'll look at what Mark's doing. As you'll know, he's underway to the Sable d'Olonne. He didn't go into La Coruña down here. He altered course and carrying on. And the weather's pretty reasonable. He's got, at the moment, he's making 6 knots, doing pretty well. He's on 2 hourly reporting at the moment, and that'll be upgraded tomorrow morning to every hour, so you can follow him into the finish. And we reckon the ETA right now is about 10 o'clock tomorrow night. It'll be in the dark, he knows that. He's not worried, he just got to get out of it. And there'll be a good solid following breeze as he gets closer. It's always hard to slow down, and he just wants to get in. So he's accepted that. He's got some Dutch media coming across and his support crew. They'll all be waiting there, expecting to see him turn up tomorrow, and all the arrangements are happening. We've organised the media boats and other bits and pieces, and so on. So keep an eye out on that, and watch the ETA updates on the top post on the GGR Facebook page. It will always stay there, and we alter the text. So you might think it's the same thing and hasn't been doing anything. It's got the GGR logo there, but we change the text every number of hours that it's relevant. But for now, it's holding at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So he's got a nice little light breeze. We thought it might have died off a bit during the night. but we think he'll hold this for the moment. So you can see that's only 3 hour gap there, and there was a big 0 wind zone, but he's got this, a southerly. He'll have a southerly to keep sailing. By then it's southerly, and this is this will catch up to him and give him a boost. So this is at midday tomorrow. By midday tomorrow, he's up in here, and he's got probably a 30 knot westerly. Okay, heading to the finish. It's 12 hours away. So yeah, so he's going to be in the middle. So he's about there. So around midday, that southerly, light southerly, is going to turn to be a good solid westerly breeze. He'll be flying with that. He'll get his big twins up. Those sort of colours look like they're around about, good 25, 30 knots, maybe gusting a little higher. And the sea will be building up, but it's all behind him, and that's kind of cool. So and then the big thing is it's changed the wind direction for him. So this is at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, again, great breeze for sailing straight in, and we'll follow that through. Just good, consistent breezes. And then just as he's closing the coast, this is 5, 6 o'clock when he's about 4 hours away. Let's just, well, you can see a bit of a blow coming here, but you'll watch what happens is that disappears in the end. But so we'll just look and focus on his actual arrival. I'm going to blow up now one more step and just look at this particular zone. This is at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and by then he's in this one. So the wind's now drying off a bit. It's back to like 15 to 20 knots. Sea will be dropping down, and then this is, oh, I'm going to click that one more time. Bingo. This is about when he's due to arrive. Again, as he's closing the coast, it's just quite, I won't call it pleasant. Yeah, it is pleasant. He'll have a nice following breeze. This is 9 o'clock local time, so he'll be an hour away from the finish. He'll be in here somewhere, so it's very reasonable weather. We get up, if the weather closed in, then we might not get out of the river, but we're confident at this stage we'll be out on the finish line. It'll be dark. We've got some lights so we can illuminate certain things. Not quite as good as the daylight arrival, but it'll be a lot of fun. And hopefully you'll get in as soon as possible. So it could be, we're pretty confident he's not going to make it before dark. It gets dark here about 6:30. But you never know, he could do a screamer. But at this stage we're figuring it'll be just after dark, and we'll do updates all the way in to keep everyone informed. That's midnight there. It's midnight local time, and again the weather's very stable. So all is good on the home front. Let's just have a look at how this weather progresses, though, because I know it was a bit of a subject. It was a bit of a subject some time ago, and as we said, it's incredibly unstable. And we figured it'd either leave a big hole up here in the northeast, or wouldn't reach the coast before Mark got in, or it'll go south. And as it turns out, the last time I looked, which was this morning, it actually goes south. So you can see it doesn't extend all the way into the bay. You see it starting to break up. Okay, and so all those strong winds disappear before it gets to the coast, and this system, evolves around the centre, which was always going to be at Brest in that quadrant, and it's now going south. So the Bay of Biscay is absolutely fine. In fact, Mark is lucky to get in, because the next day, on the 1st of February, the whole of Bay of Biscay starts to run out of wind. Okay, and there's a big calms there, all over the place. So all looks good for a fast arrival for Mark, and I know he's really dead keen to get in. We had a big chat today on the phone. He knows about the penalty, all those things. We said we were going to post the official findings of the penalty today, but we've simply been too busy to formally put it into a formal document. We'll try and do it tomorrow. We've been flat out. Mark's not worried. He says, we'll sort that out when we get in. But we'll put it up as soon as we can, just to inform everyone the process. In principle, what happened, it would normally have been an 18-hour time penalty, but because we call it a situation where it's a breach of the rules with intent, in other words, we warned 3 times that if that action took place, there would be a time penalty, and those warnings were disregarded. It's a double penalty, so there's 2 18-hour penalties there, total 36 hours, and it's not served in the Bay of Biscay. We made the decision some time ago to pull them to 20 degrees north, and so therefore the penalty is served added to the time of finishing the race. So all is good. Thanks a lot. We'll look forward to a great time with Mark when he arrives. It's going to be quite a lot of fun. Jean-Luc will be here. We'll all be geared up. Hope it's not raining like last time. We all got very wet and it was cold. And as you probably saw, when Jean-Luc got in and literally that afternoon we got chased out of the tent that we had the press conference in. The power went out. And it blew very hard that night. It was blowing 60 knots and more here. Some of the things got damaged in the village, but they've put them all back up again now, and it'll be firing ready for Mark. So basically it'll be similar process down the river on the dock, media scrum on the dock. If depending on how many people and so on there at 10 o'clock, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever he gets to that stage, up on the stage to do whatever, and then the press conference may be delayed until the next morning. We're just going to discuss all the final planning tomorrow, and we'll keep you updated from there. So have a good evening. Thanks a lot. Thanks for bearing with us. We definitely have not forgotten our other entrants at sea, as in Uku, Istvan and Tapio. We'll be following them closely, but as you can imagine, the last couple of days have been quite hectic here. So bear with us, and we'll look forward to some more fun with the GGR. And thanks once again for the squillions of comments and emails and so on about the GGR. It's all very exciting, massive coverage of Jean-Luc's finish, and the GGR's reputation is growing fast all around the world. Thanks for following. See you later.